Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This is Aina Yahweh with the beloved truth. Now, I was noticing something um, about the civilization we live in, which is America, which they call it the Western, they call it the Western world, okay? Um, or the New World, okay, which was termed by Amerigo Vespucci, okay? And one thing you notice right off, just living in America, is the culture, you know. But as you can see, I'm going, and it's just tidbit information, but I'm putting it out there so brothers that want to be edified, see what type of world we live in, okay? Because people uh, forget that you know the Most High set up societies, and the Most High sets a certain standards for societies. Now, America is a society made up of different cultures, different societies. All right, different ancient societies. All right, so we're gonna get into basically the makeup of the American society, and honestly, we're gonna compare it to the ancient worlds. You know, the ancient worlds, uh, i.e., the ancient Israel. Okay, one of the most uh, successful successful kingdoms was a kingdom that was set up under Solomon. Okay, and a lot of people that call themselves Israelites, they don't really understand the culture. They don't really understand the laws that were set up. They don't really understand the reality behind human nature. Really, when you go into it, but uh, but the reason for this is because our people still believe in this world, this as we see it today. They uphold it, and a lot of the merits and things that they were taught as young, growing up in this society, with the dogma that the so-called white man is put on them, and that's a Roman Catholic term, dogma. All right, but a lot of the things, everything that we have learned here in America, stems from what? It stems from these ancient, stems from ancient cultures, which is not, which is nothing but a mending of American culture. So I'm gonna read a little bit because our people believe in this Western culture as the definite, you know, the perfect society. And then, but when you read the scriptures, when you read the Bible, and when you understand the word of the Most High, um, this country is the least from the perfect. Uh, it is absolutely the worst empire that ever took place on this earth. Okay, and that's because some of the merits that they hold in their culture as a standard. The Most High is not. The Most High doesn't deem these. Oh, it's not. He doesn't deem these merits worthy of social norms. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. It says Western culture. It says heritage of norms, customs, belief in political systems, and artifacts and technologies associated with Europe, both indigenous and foreign origin. You see, so it's comprised of some indigenous, some foreign origins. All right. It says, as you can see, Leonardo, Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, and we know that goes back to what is it? It goes back to the not the worst. Let me see. What is it? It escapes my mind right now. But I'm gonna read, and Lord willing, if it comes back, I'll go back to it. It says, It says a symbol of the importance of uh, empiricism in Western culture since the Renaissance. Let's go to the word empiricism. All right. Salakia. I guess it doesn't want to go to it. All right, so we'll just continue on. If it goes, it goes. All right, it says see, as you can see, okay. See, it says empiricism, a theory that states that knowledge comes only or primarily from sensory experience. Okay. It says is a theory that states that knowledge comes only from primarily from sensory experience. It is one of several views epistemology, the study of human knowledge, along with rationalism and skepticism. All right. So we know to rationalize is basically to justify, um, and skepticism is basically, to it's like taboo. You know, basically you're unsure of certain things. So it says empiricism emphasizes that the role of empirical evidence in the foundation formation of ideas over the notion of innate ideas or traditions. So basically, the experience, okay, or in other words, um, experimenting, okay, and that's how mostly American society was made up. Um, one of the things, one of the big things was the age of it was the age of information. Okay, when all the philosophies flooded American, the American social, social, I guess you could say media at that time, because a lot of philosophy was passed around on pamphlets. You know, it was placed up in on the streets. To pass certain views, to pass certain political views. But getting to the point. All right. So Plato, along with Socrates and Aristotle, helped to establish Western philosophy. It didn't say, it's not really saying, you know, the Bible, even though they use the Bible to basically rule the people or to set up a society a certain way, but they infuse all these other philosophies. Okay, this is Western culture sometimes equate with Western civilization. It's the same thing. Uh, Occidental culture, the Western world, Western society, or European civilization is a term used very broadly to refer to a heritage of social norms, ethical values, traditional customs, belief systems, political systems, and specific artifacts and technologies that have some origin or association with Europe. All right. And if you know the scriptures, that go back to the scriptures, man. Um, when you read Revelation, um, and that's pretty much prophecy. So just give me a second. I'm gonna go to Revelations. All right, because it tells you in the scriptures, man, that it exercises, I believe, the power of the beast before it, but the certain beasts were numbered. Okay, and that's basically what America has done, because America really is nothing but Rome all over again. That's why you had certain philosophers like Plato and Socrates, even though it was the expansion of the Roman Empire. from the Greek. It's the same. It's ruled by the same culprit, Esau, the Edomites. Okay. Let me see. Slovakia. All right. So Revelations chapter 17, verses. Let me see. I'll start at 8. Okay, because this is all prophecy. All right. The whole setup of America, it all goes back to scriptures, and that's why people don't want to admit the fact that America is in the Bible. The Bible speaks about America, okay, exclusively, all right, using parables, all right, and metaphors, okay. So Revelation 17 and 8, it says, "The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit," which the bottomless pit represents Europe. It says, "and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is." Now the beast that was is the Roman Empire. All right, the Roman Empire, the setup, the structure, okay, of the system. Okay, so and take note that it says in the beginning of verse 8, it says it shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe, and go into perdition. That the perdition is destruction. Okay, destroying, utter destruction of vessels, perishing, ruin, and America is going to be put in ruin. All right, and that's the prophecy of America, and that's why you always see in those movies like the old Planet of the Apes. I believe it was made in the 1970s. It shows you that the ruin America was ruinous. It shows you it shows you the Statue of Liberty, and how you basically couldn't see the metropolitan cities, man. It was an utter destruction. You know, Also in the movie The Matrix, when he took I think it was a pill, and basically he went into reality, and basically it showed America being destroyed. It showed the destruction. Okay, and that's what it's talking about when it says it shall go into perdition.
Interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat.
Right?
Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found
Which hath wisdom The seventh heads are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth. All right, and the woman represents America. Okay, it says, and there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet. Okay, it says, come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Now that represents America, because America was only here for what, really less than since 1776. That's when they really established it. So less, just about over 200 years. Okay. So it says, in the beast that was and is not, even and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seven and goeth into perdition. Okay, now verse 11, it says, in the beast, all right, that was, which is the Roman Empire, and is not, because what? The Roman Empire fell. But certain aspects, the culture of the Roman Empire was basically what? It was refurbished or renewed. Okay. Basically, different societies taking on those same customs as the Romans. It says, even Slack at verse 11, it says, and the beast that was the Roman Empire and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seven and goeth into perdition, meaning destruction. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. It says these have one mind. All right. And that's the global governance. All right. When it's talking about one mind and the new world order. That's why you always hear the presidents talk about this new world order and all these people. And now even the Pope, he pushing for the one world, new world order. OK, what? And in other words, when they talk about new world order, and that's what I want to get into in the lesson, because it's really an impromptu, or just going into the word Western civilization and you know, the understanding of the social norms are nothing more but a rendition, the same old song, basically from the past, from these other empires. All right, so so you know, and only to drive my point home, these have verse 13. These have one mind, and that's the global governance that they're setting up. It says, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, and the beast represents NATO. All right, because they have formed and fashioned themselves into what the global fighting force. Okay, and when you go into NATO, it's North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So all these countries that's a part of NATO, they what in other words, they give over their armies, or they make their armies a part of NATO. So they one global fighting force. All right. So verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. And that's the Lamb represents Yahweh Shai. Okay. But you know, the point being in verse 10 and in verse 11, you know, and that's basically what they want to go into. You know, this Western civilization, which is made up of America, which spawned from America spawned from Britain, and Britain spawned from the old Roman Empire structure. Okay, they ultimately, this new world order is to phase out the old ancient ways. Okay, and to bring in us into their transhumanism, philosophy, which they're gonna push on the whole world, and that's why they have their technology booming as such, and they're pushing their technology all over the world. They're propagating it, so to speak, which only means to, basically make and broaden it, to, talk about it, and they're showing you, day after day through their technology, what they want to do. So, those that have understanding, you put two and two together, as far as the RFID chip and, which is the mark of the beast, You know, that's them bringing in that finality of their new world order. You know, and that also goes back to them. Verse 10 where it says they must continue in short space, because this new world order, they've been really trying to capstone it for some time now, and they have. It's no question about it. Everybody's heading into this new world ideology. Everybody's heading in, with their technology, so on and so forth. You know, but most of our people, they subscribe to this. Most of our people, they deal with this. You know, so when you go into Western civilization and the whole breakdown behind it, and the understanding on how the culture is it's a mesh, it's a mixing of other cultures. You understand that, when you read the scriptures, it lines up with what the scriptures is talking about. So back to this, to drive home that point. Let me see. Here we go. It says Western culture is characterized by a host of artistic, philosophic, literary, and legal themes and traditions. The heritage of Greek, Roman, Jewish, Celtic, Slavic, and other ethnic and linguistic groups, as well as Christianity, including the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, which played an important part in shaping of Western civilization since at least the 4th century, before the Cold War era. Okay, it says the traditional Western viewpoint identified Western civilization with the Western Christian, Catholic, Protestant countries and culture. It says, here's a good point right here. It says cornerstone a cornerstone of Western thought, beginning in ancient Greece and continuing through the Middle Ages and Renaissance and into modern times, is a traditional of rationalism in various spheres of life developed by Hellenistic philosophy, scholasticism, humanism, the scientific revolution. And I mentioned the Age of Enlightenment. In the Enlightenment, values of Western culture have throughout history been derived from political thought, widespread employment of rational argument favoring free thought. And when you go into free thought, it's nothing more than rebelliousness. It's nothing more than the philosophy of Aleister Crowley, do as thou wilt. Okay, that whole satanic, demonic spirit that's put on, America by basically denying the Lord's ways. The Lord Yahweh, he made the perfect society. During the time of Solomon, when the kingdom was set up perfectly, he made a society that was perfect already. Okay. So as you can see, the origin of the society is what? It's based off a conglomerate of other philosophies. Okay. Like I said, America's main philosophy is that of do what thou wilt. Aleister Crowley, okay, and that's why you got the homosexuality and transgender LGBTQA movement, which is a host of perverseness. That's why that's basically running rampant. That's why that's accepted in America, or that's regardless of what people protest against or how they protest against it. That's the normality. That's the society's norms, and that's of the ancient Greek empire. That's of the ancient Roman Empire, because that was the type of perverseness that went on. When you watch movies like Caligula, who was an emperor at one point in time in history during the Roman Empire, they done the same perverseness that America does today. Okay, so it's not a question of is America in the Bible. The question is, are you noticing the traits that America can you see that America is in the Bible? I mean, you can blatantly see it's evident, you know, it's right in your face. But our people have taken the word of God and in other words, smooth it over. They're trying to take the nastiness out of the scriptures when it comes to certain society norms. Being that of marriage, you know, and it's a hot topic